I welcome you all with my love and respect. Let you all open all your three eyes. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham Paramashivoham Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham Paramashivoham
Nithyanandam Paramasudam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganasadrisham Tattvamasyadiraksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvati Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Tadgurum Tam Namami. Nithyanam, all of you, welcome to all of you on this, after this powerful revelation, and we just had the power manifestation, where all of you have just observed the manifestation of the powers of Paramashiva. And we had beautiful revelation by Swamiji, darshan of Swamiji. So hope all of you have received the blessings, boons from Swamiji. And it's always, understand, darshan is the juice of whole program itself. And traditionally, darshan itself means when the divine, when the cosmic energies eyes falls on you, that is darshan. Swamiji says very beautifully, you seeing Swamiji is not important. Swamiji seeing you is important, because his superconscious energy, when his eyes falls on you, his mirror activities gets, his brain activity gets mirrored to you. That is darshan. So just to explain what is darshan. So through quantum entanglement, his brain activities, when it's get mirrored to you, that is quantum entanglement. So at that moment when you are receiving the darshan, your consciousness raises to that super consciousness. That's why again and again, having the darshan is very important.
Yes. And during darshan, what exactly happens is, throughout the day, we receive so many initiations, so many beautiful, powerful cognitions. During darshan, those powerful cognitions become inscribed in our muscle memory. They get bolted in us so deeply, they become part of our being. So this is the essence of the entire day. So after this, the powerful power manifestation that we had, now we are ready to be able to receive more powerful cognitions. Now we have been looking at how the wealth can be attracted towards us. Now Swamiji has beautifully given the new definition of wealth, what really wealth is. It is not our bank balance or how much wealth or how much assets or properties that we gather around us. It is our capability for us to be able to produce, for us to be able to enrich and contribute. And how we can create the right space within ourselves that can attract this wealth is what we are going to see now. The techniques, the cognitions, and the initiation that we will receive from Swamiji. And we'll also be looking at how the inner space, the right space, matters and how that can be created for ourselves. So now we'll be listening in to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, giving us the powerful cognitions of creating the right space for attracting wealth. And we'll also be looking at how we are the source of everything that is happening in and around us. So let us now sit back and relax and enter into a space of pure listening to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism as we listen into the powerful cognitions.
Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayaryanam, Namo Uvajjayanam, Namo Loye Savasahunam, Eso Vanchanamakaro, Savapavapanasano, Mangalanancha Savesim, Padamam Havai Mangalam. Today's topic is true knowledge. Everybody, every master, every spiritual person claims what they are teaching is the true knowledge. How to find out what we are hearing is the true knowledge? There should be a scale for Satya. There should be a scale for truth. What is truth? There should be definition. There should be clear idea with which we can find out whether it is truth or not. Mahavira is giving the touchstone definition of Satya here. Today we are going to enter into the Satya Sutra. He is giving the techniques, methods to find out what you are listening is a true knowledge or not. Through these beautiful sutras, before entering into the Mahavira Sutras, I wanted to discuss few things about this truth so that you will understand the greatness of Mahavira's words. See, one beautiful thing is Mahavira has lived Kshatriya life, the life of a king. To tell you honestly, if somebody has renounced the life of a king, he has seen the truth in reality. Please understand, an ordinary beggar becoming a Swami or renouncing the world, he has nothing to renounce. He has nothing to renounce. You can't even say he has renounced the world or he has achieved something. No. A king renouncing, that is the greatness. King achieving. One more thing, when a king achieves enlightenment, even his expression will be very sharp and to the core, to the point. He will speak to the point because basically he is brought up without fear. King is a guy who only creates fear in others. He doesn't have fear. He doesn't bother. He is not going to use the socially polite words. But a guy who was poor or a beggar or a person who lived in forest, even if he becomes enlightened, he will not talk the truth completely. He has to use the socially polite words. He can't tell the truth which goes against the vested interests of society or king. But when a king becomes enlightened, he doesn't bother. He says the truth in the best way. He presents the truth as it is. Here, the best expression is happening because Mahavira was king. See, one more thing. When you live a life with wealth and richness, you know all the secrets of human mind. Understand? Wealth gathers around you only when you know the secrets of human mind. How to handle human beings who are coming in front of you. Only a person who knows the basic secrets of human mind will acquire wealth, will become a leader. Only he can be a leader. Here Mahavira lived the life of a leader and expressing the truth of enlightenment. Very rare combination. Very rare combination. There are many different expressions by different masters. One, the person who was a beggar or who has never seen the world, just lived a life in forest and did meditation, became enlightened. His enlightenment will be the same, but his expression will not be sharp because his constitution or his mind, his inner software is not created based on fearlessness. One more thing, even after enlightenment, when you settle into the body, when you want to teach, you use the same mental setup which you left. You may not have the greed and fear which that mental setup was having earlier, before its enlightenment, but the setup will be the same. The software programming will be the same. Understand? This is an important revelation which you need to understand. Only then you will be able to appreciate the greatness of Mahavira's expression. If a beggar becomes enlightened, he may not have the fear or greed which he had before enlightenment, but the mental setup of living without possessing anything, or the mental setup of living by begging, will be the same. So he has to use that mental setup only to teach, to relate with the world. Understand? The mental setup which you created after enlightenment also, you use the same mental setup. Only one difference, after enlightenment, if you want you can use, otherwise you can drop. You may have that freedom, but the mental setup, the software itself will be same. Here, Mahavira is having the best software to express enlightenment. The fearless leader software, through which he can see the depth and express it. The one thing what I expressed, that people who did not have anything, renounced the life, became enlightened. There are so many millions of examples I can give for this. Second, people who became enlightened but did not renounce after enlightenment. Example, Krishna, Janaka, all these great masters, they lived as kings, became enlightened, but they continued to live as kings. This is a second kind of a mental setup. One more thing, in this the difficulty is they will express the truth with a clear software, with more clarity, better than the first group. Better than the first group, example is all rishis who lived in forest and became enlightened. They have never seen the world. So that is the first group. The second group, who lived as kings, became enlightened, but again continued to be as kings. Here the big problem is their teachings is interpreted, experienced, understood by the people who have vested interests. Understand? When you are talking to your ministers, even if they don't understand, they have to listen. But Mahavir has no captive audience. Mahavir is not talking to captive audience. When Krishna is speaking to his ministers, when he is teaching to Arjuna, practically they are captive audience. Even if Arjuna doesn't want, he can't escape from Krishna. He has to listen because he is receiving some service from Krishna. When your boss makes some joke, you have to laugh. You can't do anything about it. You have to. Same way when Janak is teaching, his whole court has to listen. They are captive audience. So, the person who is listening, whether he agrees or not, he has to listen. So, complete truth expression is not possible. It's not possible. I don't sit with my ashramites and take these spiritual classes. I give them only the instructions what to do. They ask me, what is this, Swamiji? You are not sitting and talking to us like this Shiva Sutras or Jain Sutras and all these sutras. I tell them, you guys are captive audiences. Whatever I talk, you have to listen. No other way. That way, truth can never be expressed. Truth cannot be expressed to a person who is bound to listen. Truth can be expressed only to a person who has got the freedom to doubt and question. Who has got the freedom to doubt. See, you have a freedom. You can doubt me. And you have a freedom. You can put a question. You have a freedom to go out. Only to you, truth can be delivered. Truth can be delivered in its purest form only to a person who is not receiving anything else from a master. If you receive something else from me, apart from truth, you may be sitting here for that. You can't receive the truth. You are not qualified to receive the truth. Here, the whole thing, if you see, has come in a beautiful way. Mahavira is the ultimate category. Was king who became enlightened and renounced the kingdom. He is teaching, sitting on the platform of Satya. Only one thing is holding him, Satya. He doesn't have the title. He doesn't have any other title like a king. No. He is heard by the people just because he is enlightened. See, after enlightenment, if you are sitting on the throne of a king, people may hear you because you are king. You don't know what for he is sitting. You don't know why he is listening. You can't say people are sitting just because you are enlightened. They may be sitting because you are a king. There may be some other reason for you to sit. In India, during all our rituals, means the homas, yajnas, yaga, we give free food. But I never give free food during meditation programs. Because people may be sitting for food. I will not know whether they are sitting there to listen meditation or enlightenment or for food. I tell them give free food during yaga, during rituals. not during meditation. It is a disrespect to meditation. I don't want that. There should not be anything else associated with the spiritual truth. No. If you associate anything else with the spiritual truth, the possibility is there. The truth will not be heard properly. It will not be received properly. Here, Mahavir is talking to people who are not bound to him in any way. Who are not bound to him in any way. Seekers. One more thing. Seekers are the most dangerous people. Because you can't bind them. You can't bind them. And there is nothing which can bind them. You can bind them only by love and gratitude. So you can't even use the word binding. It can't be even a bondage. You can keep them together only based on love and gratitude. Here he is talking to a community of seekers who are not receiving anything else from him but truth. They are not there for anything else except truth. And he is not carrying any title. He has renounced all the titles. So nobody is sitting in front of him because he has got some title. Because he is a king of some place or he is somebody. No. People are sitting in front of him just to listen to the truth. He is a pure being without any personality, without any title. See, the word persona comes from a Greek root. In those days, the drama actors, they will use masks. That mask only is called persona. Personality means the mask which you are using. Janak has got mask. He is a king. Ashtavakra has to listen to him. No other way. Or the Sugabrahma, sorry, not Ashtavakra. Ashtavakra actually taught Janaka. Sugabrahma came to listen from Janaka. Sugabrahma has to listen because Janaka is a king. Sugabrahma is a captive audience. He is captured. He has to. Whenever a king speaks, you can't tell anything. But here, with Mahavir, there is no other relationship except the master and seeker. The purity of relationship is important to maintain the purity of the teaching, purity of the truth. And one more thing, Mahavir has no vested interest. He is not talking to his people to make them do something. No, there is no ulterior motive. There is no goal. Whatever is said and done, Krishna has got a motive to deliver Gita. All he needs is Arjuna has to fight now. So he has to talk. He has to express the truth in such a way that Arjuna will start fighting. There is an ulterior motive. And not only that, Krishna is running a community. He is running a kingdom. So naturally, his words has to be heard. So the purity of relationship is not there. One more thing, Arjuna was thinking himself as a friend. That's why in Gita he says, Krishna, forgive me. I thought you are my friend. Hey Krishna, hey Yadava, hey Shaketi. I called you as Yadava by your community name. I called you as my friend because he was thinking as a friend. So the purity of relationship is not there. You can't deliver a truth to your friend. You can deliver a truth only to a seeker. Here, the best mental setup, best software, and the greatest enlightenment, greatest experience of enlightenment, and right persons with the right attitude sitting in front of Mahavir. So the best truth is being delivered. True knowledge is coming out. He is giving us the scale. He is teaching us what is Satya and how to find out whether something is truth or not. One more thing, even Patanjali, the greatest scientist of the inner world, says Apta Pramana, the words of an enlightened beings can be accepted as a truth. So that can be considered as a scale. If an enlightened being says, you can take it for granted, it is truth. But Mahavir says no. He doesn't even want to say that anything told by an enlightened being is truth. No. Because who knows whether somebody is enlightened or not? God doesn't give certificate. What to do? We don't have a certificate. So Mahavir goes a step further. He is not accepting Apta Pramana. He is not accepting Vedas are the ultimate truth. No. Apta Pramana is not accepted in Buddhism and in Jainism. Both religions, Apta Pramana is not accepted. Apta Pramana is the words of the enlightened ones. No. They say everything should be scrutinized. There is no such thing as Apta Pramana. There is no such thing as words of the enlightened beings. No. Everything has to be scanned. Everything has to be analyzed. He is giving beautiful teachings to find out what is truth and which is true knowledge. One more thing, please understand, this true knowledge, this is like a touchstone. If you use these sutras and analyze all your decisions which runs your life, all your ideas which is base for your life, you will achieve Satya. Lord so says, if you are established in truth, you don't have to do any spiritual practice. If you understand this one sutra and redefine all your decisions, ideas, concepts about your life, you don't need to practice any spiritual discipline. You are enlightened this moment. All you need to do is redefine all your ideas. See, there are only few pillars on which your life is standing. Your life is established. Your desires, your idea about yourself, means positioning yourself. How you position yourself in the inner world. Understand, I am not talking about how you position yourself in the outer world. That all of you know, it's not worthy. Not only that, it's a pure lies. All of you know whatever you may talk about yourself to others, but you don't believe that. You may make others to believe. You really don't believe. Just look inside. You can laugh at yourself. I always tell people, really, when you sit alone and start thinking what all you project as you, actually, if you really believe what all you project as you, by now you would have become enlightened. Because Ramakrishna says, Man Muk Ek Karo, means the mind and the words, if you make it as one, you are enlightened. If you believe what you speak about you, you are enlightened. Actually, whatever you speak about you, start believing that in a strong way is also a spiritual practice. Whatever you are talking about you, I am this, I am that, you don't know me, all those things you start believing. But the difficulty is you won't believe. That's the problem. When you try to believe also, your mind will tell, you can talk all these things to others, not to me. If at all you can people come to me. Many times I've seen they come to me and they just wanted to throw their weight to impress me. And they come and tell me, I'm this, I'm doing that, I do so many philanthropical activities, I do this, I do that, I have so much wealth and I give so much and all those things. At the end of the conversation, I ask them only one thing. Sir, do you really believe now whatever you said? They say, what? Yes, we do believe. That's why we are talking to you. I tell them, do this only one thing as a spiritual practice. Go back. Now, whatever you told me, write it down. Again and again, help yourself to believe that. That's enough. Either you should tune your mind to your walk, or you should tune your walk to your mind. Either you should tune your words to your mind, or tune your mind to your words. One thing all Ramakrishna says is, let your word and mind be tuned. You can do anything. Either talk only what you believe as you, or believe what you talk as you, what you talk about you. Then you won't have pus. You won't have cancer. The gap between the words and what you believe, that space is what I call cancer or depression. If you are carrying a depression in you, be very clear, you have that gap between your words and your being, between your words and what you believe. If you can remove that gap, you will not have the tumor which I call depression. See, any person who does not have depression is enlightened. If you are not enlightened, be very clear, you carry depression. The gap between your word and what you believe as you. The other day, one of our devotees was telling me, another one devotee who saw this latest movie, Secret movie, he came and told him, I became enlightened from today. And the guy who was talking to him, he is a strong intellectual guy. He took him to task. Within 10 minutes, that fellow lost the enlightenment. He was trying to convince himself for years or months that he is enlightened. This fellow took away his enlightenment in 10 minutes. He is only telling others he is enlightened. He himself is not able to believe. Because anybody can come and talk to you and in 10 minutes you lose your enlightenment. Then what kind of enlightenment? Either you should have courage to really believe what you are talking, or talk only what you believe. See, one thing, important thing. This is an important truth which you should know. Sometime you may radiate enlightenment without even knowing the word enlightenment. I have seen in Himalayas, there was a great Mahatma, one Naga Baba. Naga Baba means doesn't wear clothes. I had the fortune to be at his feet for 6 months. I was blessed, fortunate enough to be at his feet. He will always be smoking ganja. What do you call? Marijuana. Huh? You may think that how can a person who is smoking ganja be enlightened? That's what I also thought. When I went to serve him, you see, traditionally you are supposed to serve elderly sadhus to achieve enlightenment. So before my enlightenment, I was serving. Wherever I see some elderly sadhu, I'll go and sit at his feet. I'll give them whatever food I can collect and give, beg and give, and wash their vessels. And whatever little help, small help I can do, I used to do. One thing, I was surprised. I have never seen him eating. No food. And no water. Except ganja, nothing else. I was shocked. But such a pleasing person. I don't have any word. When you go and sit around him, you will feel so beautiful. And you feel like sitting around him because you are so innocent. He is not even aware he is innocent. He is not even aware he is innocent. I have never seen him wearing any clothes. He is an avaduta, naga, no clothes. And he is not even bothered. He is not bothered about anything around the world. Anything which is happening around him in the world is just in a high state of samadhi. One day I asked him, Baba, you are such a great person. Why are you smoking ganja? And don't you think it is an immoral thing? And people will start smoking, seeing you. And already they are doing. They want only some reference. They want only some reference. And especially a person with a reverence, if he becomes a reference, then you can do anything. I asked him. He said that beautiful word. Fool, you think that a big elephant can be tied inside a small hut? I can't live inside the body without any desire. So I have to just dull myself. Understand? When he said, I saw the authenticity. The other guy also, one more guy came and spoke to me. He said, Swamiji, I am also smoking to put me inside the body. I told him, do whatever that Naga Baba is doing, then do this also. He doesn't wear clothes, he doesn't eat, he doesn't drink. You also do all those things. Then do these things. Then you can justify. You can't just do whatever you want unless it becomes your experience. One important thing I saw in him, when he was telling that I had to dull myself, it was an authentic truth. His mind and his words were in one line. Not only that, when you live around him, you realize he is established in Satya. He is established in truth, not for any vested interests. See, if somebody doesn't eat or smoke, if somebody doesn't eat or drink, they would have made a big business out of that power. But I have never seen him making big fuss about it. If people ask him, why you don't eat, Baba? He says, who will get up and go and cook and eat? Forget about it. He will not even show that it is a big power. You won't even see that ego, that he lives without food and water. No. When you are really established in truth, you will not be aware of your own powers. You will only radiate, but you will not know those words. I asked him, what is Atmajnana? He does not even know that word, but he is an Atmajnani. What to do? He is radiating Atmajnana. He is radiating enlightenment, but he doesn't know the word. And he said, I am fortunate I did not learn about Brahman. I achieved Brahmajnana because I did not learn those words. Same way, Ramana Maharshi. When people ask him, what is the Brahmajnana, what is the Atmajnana? He said, I am fortunate I did not learn those words before my enlightenment. Because learning some words may postpone your enlightenment. Sometimes, learning too many words will postpone your enlightenment. I always tell people, never read any book which is written by an unenlightened person. Don't read anything which is written by an unenlightened person. No. Because you may create words which will stop your enlightenment. You will create a negative software which is not supporting the enlightenment process. Enlightened person's words will create a positive software in you which is constantly inspiring you towards enlightenment. See, in the end, All enlightened masters will be pushing you towards sadhana, towards enlightenment. One of the Ramakrishna's disciple, his name is Brahmananda. He says, if you read Ramakrishna's words, there is a beautiful book called Katamrita, Sri Ramakrishna Katamrita, we call in English Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. He says, if you read that book every day for 1 year, I assure you will have the darshan of the ultimate. You will experience enlightenment. You will be shocked. How can a person assure, how can a person say that enlightenment in 1 year, guaranteed? I tell you, when you read these master's words again and again, when you listen these great master's words again and again, you create a new software, you create a new mental setup, which reminds you the ultimate truth again and again, which inspires you towards that higher ideal again and again. Every day, you are again put on the track. You are again inspired to run. You are again given the enthusiasm to take up the journey. It's like a everyday inspiration, and it creates a new mental setup. It is true, when you read or listen to the master's words for 1 year, and 1 year is too much time. 1 year is enough to create a mental setup which will radiate enlightenment. It's like a, say, there is a light. In every one of you, that light is there. In front of the light, if there is a wall, that light can't shine. If there is a glass, that light can penetrate and it can shine. Putting glass instead of wall is reading enlightened beings' words. As of now, you have a big wall. In front of your light, the Swayam Prakasa Jyoti, the self-effulging light, which is inside your being, you have put big wall. That wall is your mind. If you just put a glass instead of that wall, the glass means the mental setup which can allow that light to express itself. The mental setup which does not block or stop that light expressing itself. You will see that enlightenment is radiating through your senses. It is radiating through your being. See, I can't even say enlightenment needs to be achieved. No. Your senses are supposed to be purified so that that light can penetrate and express through it. That's all. All of you are having it. No doubt about it. All you need to do is purify your body and mind so that you can allow that to express through it, so that it can radiate. Nothing else needs to be done. The purifying mechanism or the alchemy process, you can't even call as mechanism, alchemy process is what I call flooding yourself with this truth, Satya. Vivekananda says, flood your whole being with the truth. Whatever can be washed away, let it be washed away. The earlier they are washed away, better for you and the people who are around you. See one thing, if you have a clear idea about what you believe as you and what you talk about you, what you express as you and what you believe as you, you will attract that same kind of people around you and you will live completely ease. In the Aghori tradition is the path of science of enlightenment. They work with the human fevers. They say there is 64 kind of a fever which is responsible for our physical and mental imbalances. all your physical disease and mental disease is just because of the 64 fevers. Your anger will be a kind of a fever radiating around you. If you are carrying so much of negative thoughts like a vengeance, violence, you will be radiating a kind of a fever around you. For every kind of a thought trend, you will radiate a kind of a fever. If you are carrying too much of violence and anger, even the objects which you touch will become poisonous. Understand? I was surprised when I studied that science. When I studied the Agori tradition, then I understood human beings carry so much of vengeance because mind needs dissatisfaction and vengeance and violence as a root. If you are having mind, be very clear, you carry such big load of vengeance, such big load of dissatisfaction, such big load of the negative fire, fever. That is why wherever you put your feet, you radiate poison. Grass dies. In Zen Buddhist tradition, in front of your cottage, if the grass is dead, if you have created a walkway by your walking, you will not receive sannyas. They won't give you sannyas. This is a method of training. In front of your cottage, there will be a big lawn. You are supposed to use the same route, but if the grass dies, you will not be given sannyas. Means, still unconsciously you have not dropped the violence. It's a very subtle but powerful science. Only when I studied, I understood how the mind lives on dissatisfaction. Paramahamsas, enlightened beings, does not leave footprint. Anybody who does not leave footprint, who is not heavy on the planet Earth, is called Paramahamsa. Even not only his lifestyle, even his very way in which he carries his being will be so light, radiating so much of lightness, innocence, radiating so much of the carefreeness or the joy. Of course, no other word. That is what, that kind of beings are only called Paramahamsas. In our time shaft, there is no gap. Constantly things are getting written. I think overwritten. Overwritten. Our mind, how much it feels dissatisfaction, that much it does not feel satisfaction. You can see when you feel the hunger, at first you will feel in the navel center. After a few minutes, you will feel all over the body. Then it will become irritation, shouting at everybody, and your whole body will be burning, literally. But you don't feel the same satisfaction after you dump the food. You may be filled but not fulfilled. We may be filling but not feeling fulfilled. Same way, thirst. Before drinking water, we feel so much of thirst. But after that, we just take it for granted. After eating or drinking, the satisfaction which we feel, we do not cherish, we do not experience, we do not live it, we take it for granted. Any joy you can see in your life, you take it for granted. You start asking, what next? There is a beautiful stotra by Shankara. Tatakim, tatakim, tatakim. What next? What next? What next? Your mind is alive only by asking what next, what next, what next. It can't relax here and now. When Shiva says, wherever satisfaction is found, in whatever act, actualize that, be in that moment. If you are finding satisfaction means You are relaxing into that present moment. You are resting into that present moment. You are entering into a space where you don't have boundary, you don't have heaviness, you are not creating footprint. Just be in that space. But our mind is such. Ramana Maharshi says beautifully. There's a beautiful one-liner from Ramana Maharshi. He says in Tamil, I'll give you the translation. Before achieving, even mustard seed will look like a mountain. After achieving, even a mountain will look like a mustard seed for the mind. Before you getting it, even a mustard seed, small thing, will look like a mountain. Without that, your life will not move. For example, a cell phone or a shoe, which you see when you go for window shopping. When you go for shopping, it's called window shopping, just seeing and walking. Particular kind of a cloth or some shoe or some cell phone. You just look at it. You have a thought. Why not have that? You say, no, later on. Let me save a little money and buy. You just walk. But the thought is in your mind. Your mind will now give all kinds of justifications why you should have that. If it is a shoe, it will tell, if I have that shoe, early morning 4:30, I can get up and go for a running. I will be more healthy. It will give all kinds of justifications as if you will get that shoe and start running every day morning. As if your whole morning waking up and running is only in that shoes. And without that shoe, you can't get up or you can't do any running with your old shoe. No, nothing. Your mind will create all kinds of scene. And with that cell phone, you will really start doing lot of business and develop all your relationships. It will give all kinds of ideas. If I have that cell phone, I will be able to call every time. I can keep up with my business, or I can take care of all the relationships. Some idea. Same way with that cloth. I think that cloth will really look nice on me. I'll really feel more confident and courage. And it will give all kinds of ideas. And somehow finally, because your mind says so many times again and again, you may save little money and get that shoe. First few days, you will not even remove that shoe when you go to sleep. It will be there in your leg even when you fall asleep. It will be almost like a part, Karna's Kavacha Kundala. The Karna's Kavacha Kundala can't be removed from his body. It will be just like that, just always with you. After a few days, you will say, okay. Whenever you go for some parties or some time, you will wear. After a month, rarely, maybe some important thing. After 3 months, it will be lying near that small corner room, which is always under that staircase. Nobody will be there even to clean or polish it. It will be lying there. You can see your mind. Just go to your garage and see all over how many things are lying, and before buying, what all words your mind said, and how your mind was showing all these things are really necessary for your life. Especially when you read that Sky Mall magazine, the flight, it gives you such a feeling that without that product, you can't take next step in your life. And it gives you such a fantastic feeling with that photograph and everything. Almost your mind says you can't live the next day without that product. Order now. And it's like a hypnotizing, especially these TV ads in US I saw. Call now, call now, call now. And almost that way in which it is presented, your mind will say you can't take the next step. You can't live your life without that product. Or there is something really missing without that product. Go around and see your garage. See your, not only garage, just go around and see the whole house. Go and stand near every object, everything in your house, and just have a small write-up, 2-line write-up. What you felt before that became part of your life. First with your house, with your car, with your wife, with your relationships, with your every product. Just see what was the comment or what was the thought before that became part of your life. And what is the thought now? You will understand your life or your mind records only dissatisfactions. When Buddha says life is suffering, he does not mean that true life is suffering. No. He himself was not suffering, radiating joy and bliss. How can he say life is suffering? What you think or what you record life as is suffering. In your mind, what all you record as life is suffering. That is what he means. There is a beautiful saying in the Upanishad. Once you become enlightened, your future and past both can be changed. I was actually confused when I read. See, future can be changed. That I can agree. Because it is open. How can past be changed? Because past has already happened. Only when I myself had experience, I understood the past as you think is not the original past which happened. What you think as your past is not the whole complete record. What you think as your biography is only selected, edited version. It is not the whole as it happened. So only when you become enlightened, you will experience the true past. You will see everything happened. As on now, what you remember as past now is not your past. Maybe a little confusing. What is this? It is true. In your life, if you had 100 incidents, dissatisfaction or suffering, at least 101 incident with satisfaction and joy has happened. That is why you are still alive. See, the prana flow can happen in you only if more number of joyful incidents are recorded in your unconscious, in your inner space. Still you being alive is the solid proof that your unconscious has not really lost the hope about life. Means at least 1% is more joy is recorded in your inner space. Intellectually, consciously, you may not remember. But in the inner space, the recording of the joy or satisfaction is 1% more than the dissatisfaction. That is why still you have hope and still you are breathing. Otherwise, you would have decided, enough, I breathed. Enough, I lived. Bas, let's pack up. Now really, still you being alive is the solid proof that 1% more joy is there inside recording. You may not remember it. You may not remember your past as it happened. Only when you become enlightened, you will realize the whole past as it happened. That is what the rishis say. When you become enlightened, your future and past both will change. You will realize your true past. So many wonderful things have happened. Many times, again and again, you come back to that present moment. Satisfaction, joy, or restfulness, but you don't feel comfortable with that state. Every day, at least few times, you experience the state of Paramahamsa, state of Shiva consciousness, but you feel uneasy with it. You feel uneasy with it. You don't feel homely with it. You don't feel that is your state. Your natural state has become unnatural for you. That is why you say, no, this is, I think this looks too much. It's okay. Before even you consciously relaxing into it, you jump out of it. Raman Maharshi says beautifully, whenever you want something, some outer object, like want to enjoy a sweet or some joy, your mind is running towards that object. The moment you put that object into your mouth, or that object comes in contact with your senses, immediately the running stops, you come back to the present moment. You falling back to the present moment only radiates joy and satisfaction. Then you start thinking that joy is coming from that object. No. If the joy is coming from that sweet, then after 10 sweets, the joy should be more. But it is not. See the logic. As you believe, if the joy is from that sweet, after 10 sweets, the more number of sweets, joy should be more. But it is not. Why? It is not from that sweet. It is because your mind falls back to yourself. He gives a beautiful example. Dog which got a dry bone is biting the dry bone. Somehow the dry bone started poking into its own gums and blood started flowing. The dog is just enjoying that blood and thinking that blood is coming from that bone. How the dog is mistaking the blood from his own mouth is the blood from the bone and enjoying it. Same way, you also, when you experience the sense pleasures, when you live those sense pleasures, the joy which comes out of your own self, you attribute it to that object. If the dog starts thinking that blood is coming from that bone, it will just bite the bone more strongly. Same way, you catch that sense object more strongly. But suddenly you will see the emptiness. After 10 sweets, no more joy. Because your mind is now accustomed to the sweet. Even when you put the sweet in your tongue, it is not ready to rest. It is asking what next? What next? What next? It is not relaxing, resting into that satisfaction. Now, you play the next role. Oh, there is no joy in the sense object. One side of your mind is saying, there is no joy. The same joy is not there in that sweet. But your inner mind is telling, no, you are doing wrong. I think try once more, try little more, we may get little more joy. Because you are not ready to believe that there is no joy in the object, because that's the only thing you have in your hand. If in that also there is no hope, means what will happen? You become hopeless. That is too much. So you try to hold on. So you try to add rasa, juice to the object from your own being and try to enjoy. You are not ready to believe that there is no joy from the sense, from the object. The joy is from your inner space because you are relaxing, resting. Mahadeva says beautifully, wherever satisfaction is found, in whatever act, actualize this. In Zen, they have something called tea ceremony. It's nothing, just they will prepare tea and drink. But that is given so much of spiritual significance, you will be surprised. All the monks will sit around and that they will be just sitting and listening to the sound of tea boiling. That water sound. Glug, 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 glug. And that beautiful smell of the steam. And just with a deep meditative mood. And when they pour the tea, just that sound which is created with a full awareness and your deep thirst for the tea or that feeling to sip the tea, just be with that. And beautifully when you sip the tea, the whole tea traveling inside your system and that satisfaction it is creating inside your system and that beautiful restfulness and that relaxation or satisfaction which comes because you got what you want. The whole mood, the whole thing, just a cup of tea can lead you to enlightenment. Understand? Just that satisfaction, if you can live intensely, there is a beautiful truth behind this whole tea ceremony. Let me explain the truth. Then you will understand the Mahadeva or Shiva's technique. In your inner space, two things will get recorded. Two samskaras will get engraved. Samskara means the engraved memory which is powerful enough to make you go through the same action. If you are addicted to coffee, morning 7 o'clock, once you hear the bell 7, inside coffee, addiction. You see, addiction word can be defined. Understand this definition. Without that object, you will feel deep dissatisfaction. With that, you won't feel much satisfaction. Is addiction. Understand, this is the definition of addiction. With anything, without that object, you will feel deeply dissatisfied. If you can't smoke, at that point, you can't stand, like you will feel so restless. You will walk here, you will walk there, you will go to bathroom, you will walk here, you will walk there, and you will be shouting at everybody. You will be kicking the shoes, you will be kicking this. You will be doing all sorts of things like Tom and Jerry. But once you smoke, the joy will not be too much. You will take it for granted. Okay, next. That is what is called addiction. The powerful engraved memory which can make you go through the same action again and again without giving you the satisfaction is called samskara. Samskara and mantra, both are opposite to each other. The words are the memory which stays in you and makes you more and more dull and addictive is samskara. The words are memories which stays in you and liberates you more and more from your bondages is called mantra. The words which stays in you and liberates you is mantra. The words which stays in you and binds you is samskara. That's all. Understand? When you are caught with these samskaras, when you don't feel the satisfaction of what is happening inside you, you will record more samskara and less experience. Let me repeat once more. Inside your inner space, two things will be recorded. For example, the memory of drinking tea and the joy or intense satisfaction which you felt during drinking tea. These two will be recorded. If that satisfaction, the joy, if it is deeply recorded, you won't need the same act of drinking tea again and again. If this experience or the joy or quality of satisfaction is not deeply recorded in you, you need this act to be done again and again. If there is a quality of experience in you, the quantity of act is not needed. If the quantity of act is needed means the quality of experience is not deeply recorded in you. That is why Mahadeva says, Shiva says in another one technique, anything you do with your conscious full awareness will liberate you. Understand? It means if you smoke intensely, consciously, only once, you will be liberated from smoking. If you smoke consciously, intensely, even once, you will be liberated. You will not be bound. Because anything you do it completely does not create footprint or leave karma or samskara inside your inner space. Karma means unfulfilled action, which is powerful enough to make you go through the same action again and again to make you feel fulfilled. If you do any action, whether it is seeing something, or listening something, or tasting something, or smelling something, or touching something, anything with full conscious awareness, even once, without drifting into the past or future during that act. Usually, when you are drinking tea, your mind will be doing everything else except enjoying the tea. When you can see in your life, when you put the brush morning to brush your teeth, your mind is already in the office, sitting and calculating and thinking what to do. That is why when you are in the shower, you are talking to your boss. Sometimes even verbally you talk. When you are in the shower, you are talking to somebody. What to do? And when you are sitting in the office, already you are in the evening sea beach or in the temple or thinking about the vacation. When you are in the sea beach, already you are thinking when to go back to the home. When you are in the home, already you are thinking when next day morning you will go to the office. One thing is sure, if you are here, your mind is not here. That's all. That we are very clear. Anything you do, even once, without drifting into the past or the future, will liberate you. Any karma. Because you are embodiment of fulfillment. You are Purna. There is a beautiful Upanishad sloka. Purnamata Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. From the whole comes the whole, and if the whole is added to the whole or removed from the whole remains as whole. Maths cannot help. Logic cannot help you to understand this. And now, recently, the Western mathematicians are agreeing 2 plus 2 is not 4. No, really. It is 4 plus something. Whenever you add two things, it is not just a logical equal thing which we were believing always. No. 2 plus 2 is not just 4, because the adding action, that brings some result. See, 2 plus 2 is not just 4. Adding is an action. What about that result? Once you add 2 plus, you see, when the 2 is separate, 2, and there is another one 2, separate 2, these two, when they are added, it is not just 4 plus the quality of adding. Now this 4 is ready to get added to anything else. Now the 4 has got a quality or the idea or the mental setup of getting added to anything. That is why 2 plus 2 is not just 4, it is something more. Because the 4 has now learned how to expand itself. This just 2 do not know how to expand itself. This next 2 also do not know how to expand itself. When these 2 are joined together and became 4, now they have an intellectual property, how to expand them. They are something more than 4. Now they know the technique of how to adding more and more into them and how to assimilating or how to expand. Understand? That is why the regular logic is not a complete logic. The system of the Purnamata, if you understand this one Upanishad mantra, the whole comes out of whole and goes back to whole. If you take the whole out of the whole remains as a whole. It's a very beautiful but very subtle truth. You need your full attention and awareness to digest this truth. But very understanding will transform you. You don't even need to meditate separately. The very understanding can transform you. See, now by your nature, whether you believe it or not, you are a whole being. You are a conscious being. Any action, if you do with that whole being, without drifting into the past or the future, the whole, which is your being, even if the action is done, you will remain as a whole. You will not become half. Purnamata Purnamitam. You will remain as a pure conscious being. But when you do some action, if you drift away in the past or the future, you will become part. You will not remain as a whole. Then samskaras are written on you. Then karma is created. You have to do the same action once more because you have not been in that whole state when you did that action. When you were smoking, if you were completely into that smoking, there was no other past or future, the whole was doing something holy, then you are not engraving or creating a karma or the memory. You are liberated from that action. You will not be inspired or forced to do the same act again. If you are half off when you are doing some act, naturally, because you have done only half, you have not achieved the full satisfaction, you will carry that engraved memory, which will inspire you, force you to do the same act to feel the fulfillment through that act.
Yes, such a profound way of going back into identifying the real source of whatever we call as happiness or satisfaction or fulfillment, and resting in that. Powerful techniques from the Shiva Sutra revealed by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Now, with that, we close today's sessions. We come to the end of today's sessions of the Glimpses of Paramashivoham. We'll be back again tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. with Nitya Yoga. So do not miss the yoga sessions in the morning, and allow your body to prepare yourself to receive the ultimate truths from Swamiji. Now, let us come back to the space of deep gratitude to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivoham, and offer our gratitude in the form of the Purna Mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Bhagavat Sri Nithyananda Paramashiva Padukarpanamastu. Om Nithyanandam. Thank you, Nithyanandam.
Yes. Thank you, Nithyananda. See you tomorrow.